It is up to you. Do you want an intro?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Keep the tradition going.
The roses have faded, there's frost at my door. The birds in the morning don't sing anymore. The grass in the valley is starting to die, and out in the darkness the whippoorwills cry. The darkness is falling, the sky has turned gray. A hound in the distance is starting to bay.
I did not come here to lose.
Perhaps this simple defeat will be a perfect example of how pathetic your society has become.
You're my friend. But you start this fight. And don't do this to me.
Apollo is down!
I cannot be defeated.
Somebody get a doctor in here!
Soon, whole world will know my name. Drago. Drago.
I let it happen.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
Now, hello, and welcome to an Organized Chaos podcast. My name is Bobby Quarters, and this week, well, we got quite a show on deck for you. As always, you chose the most excellent podcast of all the Organized Chaos podcasts that exist.
No, I mean, what I find
Superb
amazing is that we never have any technical issues, and every episode we just raise the bar. And now all the other podcasts, like Joe Rogan's watching us going, Jesus Christ, these guys are killing it. And yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you don't spread vaccine misinformation. You can kill it.
And we also don't need a crony to look up everything that we're talking about.
Yeah.
However, I will say, I did recently stumble upon this clip of Rogan where he had Candace Owens on.
Oh, God.
And she was like, I get exactly what it was. It was climate change.
Oh, God.
She denied and saying that it didn't exist or anything like that. And then she was like, well, wait a minute. What do you mean? Like, are you, I mean, I don't think that you're really not an expert on global climates or weather patterns at all. So I don't feel that you're qualified to make that statement. And that's all that he said. And I go like, for the most part, I agree with that. Yeah, you're not a qualified expert on that. So you're really not the best person to say that. And he just kept going, how can you say something doesn't exist when you have no way to prove that it doesn't? And that was at least admirable in some sense. And I kind of was like, wow, I wish you took this stance on more issues.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, unless he was on more recently, I think you're talking about the older appearance where, like...
It was an older appearance, yes.
Yeah. It is a decent debate they have, because that's the thing. When you're lying so hard that even Joe Rogan's capable of spotting your lie, you must be lying pretty fucking hard.
She is employed for the Daily Wire that is back-funded by Alex Jones, so that says everything you really need to know about it.
Yeah, well, that is an interesting thing. We could go into at some point, but yeah, the whole... obviously Daily Wire and Steven Crowder are getting into an argument at this point over funding. And it's just fascinating, this idea that, like, they offered him $50 million and he said no. And it's like, oh, wow. Like, all this garbage stuff that they push and the millions of subs, it's all just probably privately billionaire funded.
Well, it's good to at least know that the fearmongers are getting as much inner turmoil as people of the actual party they support locally.
No,
I was about to say
love seeing them
represent. Well,
eat themselves. Yeah,
I mean, well, I had read. I don't know how much truth is with this, but it's stuff I read off Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it as exactly things I read off Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't let you just post anything on Twitter. What are you talking about?
Well, no, now you can because it's free speech.
Yeah. Elon Musk won't let anything go on there.
No, it's not Elon now. It's Mr. Tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that my two favorite representatives, Lauren Boebert and Maura Jean Taylor Greene, apparently got into a physical altercation in the ladies' bathroom. I gotta go. I don't care how I look for say this, but video or it did not happen.
Yeah. Those two would be all over you'd just
but also
with each other.
I would absolutely love to watch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Like I said, the Republican infighting right now is just kind of glorious. It's divided between essentially the corporate goons and just the hardcore true believers of this garbage. It's wow.
Yeah.
I kind of dig it. I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have the MAGA faction of it, which is and then you have the own right-wing extremists, and then you have your more, I would say, boilerplate Republicans, your Mitt Romney's.
Yeah, he's
guys who are relics
guy.
of guys who are more relics of the more establishment GOP types, McCain, Romney. Yeah, I already said Romney, but I'm trying to think of another good example.
There's less and less of them as we go anymore.
Fine, yeah, your HWs.
Yeah.
I mean, he was still a warmonger, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Well, are we ready to get into a couple news segments? We don't have a lot.
Yeah.
Got a couple news segments to get into.
Yeah, let's get into it.
First one I just was one that kind of hit me. So Anne Werschling, I'm certain I'm slaughtering that last name, but she passed away of cancer yesterday, according to the dates. And if you're wondering who she is, she played the Borg Queen in Star Trek Picard Season 2, which was literally last year. So she probably filmed her scenes in 2021. To my understanding, she was diagnosed with cancer in 2018, and she's been fighting it for the past few years, and unfortunately, it got the better of her yesterday. And it's just kind of wild, because I'm reading about this, and it was literally yesterday when I watched most of Star Trek Picard Season 2, where it's literally, I took a pause in watching it and started looking it up, and literally the news of her dying came out, and I was like, holy, whoa. And then, I looked it up. She was only 45, and it was just fuck, that is way too young. That is way too young.
That is. That's tragic.
I don't have too much to say except my heart goes out to her family. This is terrible, tragic.
Yeah, and my condolences to her family, her fans, her friends.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. Fuck cancer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fuck cancer.
Yeah, I think we can all get behind that one.
Yeah.
But anyways, a little bit lighter. Dave Bautista kind of hit the news, and by the way, I just love this picture because there's a picture he posted on Twitter of him being just based as hell.
But still, you gotta love. It's Dave Bautista. You gotta love the guy.
For people listening, it's literally just a picture of him with a rainbow shirt, and under the rainbow it says "BU," and
Yeah, and
based.
It's very fitting to Dave Bautista. So if you have any idea of what he looks like, it's entertaining in that aspect.
Yes.
But also, it just shows that he is a genuine guy.
Mm-hmm. But he recently, I guess, had a meeting with James Gunn to figure out, because he's been interested in playing Bane, and he was interested to see if maybe he could have a role, because obviously he has a good relationship with James Gunn. And essentially, he came away from it with his feeling that, it's almost certainly not going to happen, and that James Gunn is doing the hard reboot, which we all theorized, which is what was going on. And essentially he's come out of that meeting pretty much confirming what we all pretty much assumed, that it will be a hard reboot. So yeah,
he's open to talks with James again, just to like it. But from what I understood from the article I shared with you is like he's open to it, but only if he can like give the character justice, the justice that he feels that he can give. And honestly, I would really like to see his interpretation of Bane.
No, I would love that.
Pretty cool.
He's been like ever since like he got acting lessons for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Ever since then, like he has been like kind of a force on screen, and he's done a great job since then. I'm kind of on board with anything he does.
I enjoyed him in Glass Onion. Thought he was great.
Honestly, I can't think of a role where I haven't enjoyed him since then. I mean, Spectre is a movie that gets a lot of criticism, but he played a heavy throughout a lot of that movie. And I remember being kind of bored in that movie, and then all of a sudden Dave Bautista would pop up for a fight with James Bond, and all of a sudden, like, my interest just spikes up, and it becomes this super intense battle between the two of them. And yeah, he made that movie better. It's not the worst movie. Spectre's not the worst movie ever, but it's got its issues. Dave Bautista wasn't one of them.
It's not the best James Bond movie. It's not the worst.
No, not by a mile, but it's not the best at all.
That's Living Daylights.
Living Daylights. I don't know if I'd call that the worst, but it's not good.
That's my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I have to rewatch them, but I know there's...
It'd have to be a tie between that or A View to a Kill.
View to a Kill. Yeah, no, that's right. That was my pick for worst one. Oof.
But that one still does have like a badass theme song.
Yeah, no, I love that. What the Living Daylights does too. Aha and Duran Duran. Fucking dig those 80s songs. But those movies are not good.
View to a Kill is View to a Kill is a better song, but like the best theme, and I mean in my opinion is you're gonna hate me, but Live and Let Die.
Live and Let. Oh yeah, well no, that one's a classic. I take that one.
Yeah, okay.
I mean that's Wings. Come on.
I mean I've seen Paul play it live, so like
nice,
fucking awesome, just fucking awesome.
But yeah, as far as Dave Bautista, I'm interested in any project he works on. If I would love if James Gunn found a role for him in DC, because I know he said he's pretty much done with Drax after Guardians 3. It's one of those things where it's like I'd love him to play more Drax, but if he's done, I'm not gonna be like you have to push it.
I'm sure he would be more down to maybe provide a voice if they were to do like another What If.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, but yeah,
I mean, he says he's happy to be done with the role because he also has it's kind of like a slight worry of being typecasted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's legit, but. If you're actively pursuing Bane after playing Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah, true. But yeah, we will see what the future holds for him. I don't know what projects he has coming out besides Guardians 3, which I am pumped for, by the way. But
I am too.
Yeah, we will see. Are we ready to get to the main topics? I guess we haven't even pre-introduced the main topics. Okay, we're talking about Last of Us.
No, we didn't.
Rocky IV and what was the last thing? Mandalorian. It's my shirt. We're talking about my shirt. We're talking about
his shirt.
Wow.
For those of you listening, Bob is wearing a Baby Yoda shirt, or a Grogu shirt. But we don't know that yet.
It's a comic book thing. Yes. But yeah.
Yeah, it looks like an old Spider-Man comic.
Yeah. Yes. So, now that we've perfectly listen, this podcast is perfect in every way. And now that we've perfectly and on time set this up, we will go ahead and dive into Last of Us.
All right, yeah.
So, my initial thoughts when I go to the HBO screen, and I didn't even realize this, because when I first watched the first episode, I want to say it was Friday, and I was like, whoa, the first episode's an hour, like 80 minutes. But I'm like, oh, well, it's probably just because it's the pilot. It's probably not going to be regularly that long. Because the second one, I think, was like 50, 55, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 58 minutes.
It's longer,
or
but it's not huge. Yeah. It's like, okay, so it's usually an hour, but the first one's going to be kind of overlong. Then the third one comes out tomorrow night, and it's like 75 minutes. I'm like, okay. I just need to make sure to set aside a bit more time for this, because this is going to be a long series.
Yeah.
Now that I've said that, yeah. So far, I'm digging this. What are your initial thoughts, Bobby?
Well, I'm going in real blind because I never played the game. I mean, I understand kind of the basic idea of the game.
Yeah.
Like from whatever I was shown in trailers of it, but I'm liking it. I'm really enjoying a lot of what they're giving us in the sense of story so far.
Well, what I'm enjoying is that we're getting lots of flashbacks to before the, kind of seeing the downfall. We're getting hints of how all this happened. Essentially this is fungal zombies, which is different.
Well, they don't say the word zombie, I notice.
Well, that's not uncommon in these things. Walking Dead never says zombie either.
Well, Walking Dead is garbage, so.
I do want to go to Walking Dead a bit here, because what I'm seeing a lot of is we're seeing lots of the origin of the zombies, lots of how did this happen, and we're also getting lots of side stories, all almost self-contained side stories that relate to the main story, but not 100% directly.
Yeah.
And the reason why I want to bring this up is because that was Frank Darabont's plan for Walking Dead before his budget was cut, and then he was eventually kicked out.
Yeah.
Like he talks about, if you watch season 1, there's this scene where Rick ends up in a tank, and you see this soldier who is dead in that tank, and he literally, Frank Darabont had a whole episode set up about that soldier and how he ended up in that situation. And it was going to be lots of exploring the virus, exploring lots of the destruction of humanity.
If The Walking Dead did that, I would have enjoyed the series a lot more.
Yeah.
I absolutely would have.
No,
but I just kind of thought it was after about the first season I did watch, and after the second season I just kind of kept. To me, it felt like they were just trying to kind of make every episode it would run the course of a combination of Dawn and Day of the Dead, but more so the Day of the Dead. They leaned more hard into the Day and the Dead aspect of just the people, infighting within each other for no reason.
It's a lot of rinse and repeat.
Yeah, and for me, I just kind of go this was better when Romero did it.
Yes. No,
I'm bored.
I stuck through maybe 7 years of that show, just hoping because here's the deal. I loved season 1 Walking Dead.
I agree.
And I
with you.
stuck with
One
it
is
for
good.
years.
One is good.
Hoping it would get
good
back to that, and it never did. And I got to a point where I was I don't care. I remember after I stopped watching,
did it.
After I stopped watching, there'd be reports talking about X characters dying in so many episodes. It's I don't even have to watch it to know when characters are dying anymore. They're just gonna talk about it a month in advance.
Yeah.
It's I feel like I've seen the whole series, even though I haven't watched it for years. I think they just finished that series recently, and I'm I don't care. And it's sad because I loved season 1. But it's the reason why I'm going into it is because I feel like Last of Us might be kind of the spiritual successor, or at least they might be shooting to be the spiritual successor to what Walking Dead could have been.
Well, I'm happy you said that because the first episode gave me a lot of Walking Dead vibes. Early season, season 1 vibes of Walking Dead. And I was very hooked on it. Even my wife, who was working from home when I was watching it earlier today, she even kind of took a break, and we both were just kind of just very enthralled with the story. And this was episode 3 that definitely the one that sucked both of us in.
Oh, episode
really
3 was so good. I mean, it's a long one, but it's almost it's almost all this side story between Bill and Frank.
Yeah, well, at first, what my wife was what's this all about? And I go, I have seen it just about as much of this, as you have. I have no idea. And she's no. I mean, it's cool that they're, showing the representation, but does this have anything to do with it? Or are they just doing it to say, hey, pandering? And I was the only thing I could think of is I knew that he was introduced as a character. I read that today. So maybe this is a story setting this character up, or how he knows the people, like our heroes, like Pedro and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, you know, that's how, like, that. And sure enough, near the end of the episode, we did get that payoff, but by the time we were questioning, like, why is this important to the story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this? But we're getting a background of more of the people that, you know, they'll encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, Bill built a beautiful fortress.
Yeah. No,
like,
you
every bit of it was great.
No, you get this background into, like, essentially Bill, who's this, like, survival guy. This whole town is getting evacuated, and he's just, like, in his little bunker with a whole bunch of guns and a whole bunch of cameras watching people leave. And as soon as they leave, he just is out there grabbing everything that's useful and setting up a huge fortress around, I don't know if it was, probably not the whole town, but, like, definitely a section of town, setting up booby traps all around it.
Maybe a city block. Yeah, maybe a city block.
Yeah. And, yeah, he's spent like 4 years by himself there, and then he meets Frank, and like you're not sure where the whole Frank thing's gonna go, but then it just kind of turns into this kind of beautiful love story. God, I'm watching it, I'm not sure where it's gonna go, and by the end, like at first I wasn't really fond of Bill at all, and at the end I'm like, oh God, this is so sad. I might be bawling. This is so nice.
Yeah, the ending was very, very sweet.
Yeah,
and
I would definitely say, like, I've liked all the episodes so far, but like that episode 3 was so far definitely my favorite of the 3. You know, like I said, the first one I thought did a great job doing. Oh, go ahead.
We're jumping around a little. We're talking about 3, and we haven't even dove into 1 yet.
Yeah, no, I was about ready to move back into 1 because 1 I thought was really good. It does a great job setting us up. Yeah.
It does. Pretty much there's this outbreak that's fungal. Like it's fungus.
Yeah.
And it could live in humans and infect them and turn them into like reanimated dead corpses.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Something not
they didn't
zombies,
like I said they don't say zombie.
Mm-hmm.
So they're they're really not one.
Well, yeah, I mean, they dance around it. They
dance around it.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, to the best of my knowledge, and I guess me as a big fan of that subsection of horror genre, I would have to say that, you know, with zombies, there can be several different ways, like something supernatural, like, you know, a planetary alignment or a meteor or, you know, the like tectonic plate movement, some weird shit like that. Okay. Government controlled, you know.
Yeah.
Some virus that they created that causes it. That, or, you know, and like those are pretty much like the 2 main ones, and one that's not really touched upon so much, but is in a lot of films from the 40s and 50s, pretty much until Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Voodoo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, voodoo. Voodoo was the classic
like
Romero.
Like King of the Zombies, for example.
We have covered that on the podcast. You can go check it out. It's also the best episode of any podcast ever.
Yeah, that timeless chestnut that aged just like milk.
Yes. Hey, I mean, like I said, the lead character was pretty. Well, I guess does he count as lead? He's the guy who stole the movie. Was entertaining as hell.
Yeah, and then like finding out all that extra about him, like how he was friends with Mo Howard, was like cool.
Yeah,
but these aren't voodoo zombies here, and I mean technically they would fall under the biological or you know lab created something.
Yeah,
I guess there's four biological and man-made.
Yeah,
4 categories. But yeah, I don't know though. They're not different. Because zombies don't have growths. They don't develop growths. They're just the reanimated corpses that slowly start to decompose over a period of time.
No,
at least in my opinion.
I think they're obviously going for a zombie thing, though.
Yeah, they are definitely heavily inspired by them, but it's like it's it's kind of like that with a bit of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, how the bodies act more of a host or like a vessel.
You know, that's a good point. Because, like, it's a point, I think it's episode 2, where he kills one of the zombies, but the zombie lands next to some fungus, and the fungus, like, communicates with the zombie, and it activates this, like, horde of zombies nearby.
Whole apartment complex worth.
Yeah, and it's like, there's this communication between the zombies if they're around the fungus. It's almost like a group mind.
Hive mind. Like a hive mind,
collective. Yeah, I watched Star Trek Picard recently. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting.
That's again, like, I'll nerd out on zombie horror, but
yeah.
Nothing. I like no. I'm not by it at all.
We do not accept zombie nerds. I'm sorry.
I'm already labor, put in the time, and I'm already union, so
there you go. But yeah,
I don't know. I kept a hat on like my fandom of that for years, just because of like how overexposed zombies became after The Walking Dead.
Yes,
almost
it was
to like the theme of it. Yeah, and it kind of like bastardized a lot of it for me. So like a lot of the newer ones I hadn't watched. I think like I refused to watch any newer thing after the romantic comedy about zombies came out.
That's right. There was something. What?
Warm Bodies.
Oh, Warm Bodies. That wasn't what I was thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen it, but I can tell you I absolutely hate that movie.
Warm Bodies was actually like the young adult thing.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of Life After Beth.
Maybe.
Which I think I've seen, but it's been a while. Like well, Life After Beth was more just a comedy. It wasn't meant to be kind of a young adult thing. Whereas I think Warm Bodies was trying to be like a spoof of the whole young adult genre, but with zombies. But I'm not sure. I haven't seen that one. But yeah.
Possibly. But yeah, even like, Zombieland was alright.
Yeah, Zombieland was fun. Yeah.
It was alright. 2 was alright as well.
Yeah.
But because they did a lot of in those, like the similar themes with Romero, and there's a lot of these themes that I hope that we're going to see with The Last of Us too, where if they keep going into these individual stories of the people, we'll see how each of these different characters will react, and to their surroundings and what's going on. We even saw it with Bill and Frank, where when they first met
Joel and Tess.
Pedro Pascal's Thank you. Yeah, Joel and Tess. How they were kind of fighting. It's like, it's just us. It has just been us for the past 4 years. Like, let's have a normal thing. Yeah. And even that, like, we get to see how it's affecting them in that times. But I hope that we get to see more of this, but also people whose paths will cross with, our protagonist. And also our the lead, the Bella Thornburg, I think the actress name is.
That sounds right. Ellie.
Yeah. Ellie. Yeah.
We haven't gotten to explore, but apparently she's been bitten at least twice and has not become infected and just heals.
It just heals. Yeah. No, that's what we saw, because we saw her. Well, we didn't see her get bit. We saw the aftermath of it. They got away somewhere safe. They went to check her arm again, and it was healing. Like.
Well, they kind of did this on purpose to show you the contrast, because Ellie got bitten at about the same time Tess did. Yeah. And you see, like, about the same time, Tess's, like, bite is just expanding all over and growing quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas Ellie's, just got this little bite, and it's already stopped bleeding, and it's
scabbing over.
Yeah, it's already starting to heal up. It's like, whoa, there's a difference.
We also get to see Tess go out like a badass.
Oh yeah, no, she's awesome. Like, she blows up that whole building nicely.
I will say though, well, that wasn't just a building, Robert. That was a museum. Well, while they were in it, and I was watching it this morning, that happened and it blew up, and I went, all that history, gone.
It was already pretty much gone, though. I mean,
I know.
Like, it is interesting.
I didn't even realize. I forgot it was a museum until he knocked over that bust of Ben Franklin. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right, they're in a museum. That's right.
Well, it was probably mostly stolen anyway, if it makes you feel better.
Well, no, there was a room. There was a bunch of revolvers and like muzzle loaders and shit. So maybe it was in Boston.
Maybe.
So I mean, I could tell you there are probably winds of it that they were stolen.
What?
Those are probably more located around the Cape Cod area or Plymouth.
But yeah, that's one thing that this series, like, we're really seeing how it starts. Like, the beginning of the series is all 2003, and it's Pedro Pascal, Joel, with his actual daughter, his biological daughter. And of course, all the usual suspects got upset because they cast a black girl for that role. And it's like, shit happens, guys. Who cares? We don't need to explain. She does a great job.
Really?
Yeah.
That is what pissed them off?
Yeah.
Not even episode 3? Because
episode 3's barely been out, so we'll see. But yeah.
I said to my wife, it's like, shh, do you hear it? You can hear the conservative triggerism.
Yeah. We're not bigots. We just yell every time it happens. It's like, that's kind of bigotry, guys. It's kind of bigotry.
How is it hurting them?
Yeah. No, it drives me nuts. But like the actress that got to play her daughter, I thought did a really good job. And god damn it,
was good.
That got tears out of me too. Like
I knew it was going to happen.
But you guys should know this because this has been spoiled for me. Even without playing the game, this got spoiled for me because everybody brought it up. But yeah, Joel's biological daughter dies early on, and we see that. And even knowing it was coming, god damn it, it still got me. They do a good enough job.
I knew it was coming.
Even knowing that,
I didn't know how. I didn't know how it would happen. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I had a feeling as soon as when he ran into the army guy, and he's like, "Sir, I'm sorry. Say that again." And it was just, oh.
Yeah, he just got the order to start executing everybody.
Yeah. Fuck the army.
Yeah. But
in this show, yeah.
Yeah, the army guy gets the order to start killing people, so he takes shots at Joel and his daughter, and his daughter just dies in his arms, and God, that got
but
me.
I think one of his buddies, his army buddies, because we know Joel is a ranger from Desert Storm. We see that on a bumper sticker in his truck earlier. I think one of his buddies like caps the army dude in the head with a rifle.
But not in time to save his daughter, just in time to save Joel, unfortunately. But it does play a nice contrast a little bit later on where he meets Ellie, and you get the army guy essentially pointing a gun at Ellie, and just you can see like Joel gets a flashback, he gets triggered, and he just lunges and beats the shit out of the army guy, just almost like on instinct.
Out of that guy.
Like I'm not prepared to have this happen again.
Yeah, he was not going to have it happen again. And he even was protecting her in a very similar way instantaneously. As soon as the army guy was there, that was a guy who he talked to who we thought
he even had a past history with him, But
that guy was there for one reason, to capture him. So, deserved. That ass whooping was well deserved.
But we'll have to see how it develops. But like I said, the first episode's just a great setup, and we see Joel and Ellie and Tess kind of going on their adventure. The second episode is probably my least favorite of the 3, but still good. It's more just, they're continuing on their journey, and we get to see Tess's fate, which is pretty fucking badass. And then episode 3 is just almost a side story, and fuck, it's so goddamn good.
It so really good. Is.
So
I did laugh when Nick Offerman was like, "Won't have me do your new world order bullshit."
Yeah, well, God, I don't know who plays Frank, but Nick Offerman does an amazing job as Bill. Like, both those actors, fucking so good.
No, they were amazing. Like they had like good chemistry on screen. Like you believed that they had lived and loved each other together and lived there. It was like, yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of that. Like all that whole story. I'll admit, for a while I was thinking that sorry, my window closed and I needed that open. Sorry. I enjoyed like their story, their arc, and I will admit I didn't see it ending, or I didn't see it turning out the way that it did.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly thought when the first time the scavengers were going to come to the house, I thought that Frank was going to get shot by crossfire.
I was expecting one of them to die, and
right then
one of them gets injured for it seems like probably the rest of his life. But like they both.
And then you think he's gonna die.
Yeah. No, I was watching that scene thinking, Frank's gonna die, and then it's kind of already established that Joel and Bill don't they can work together, but they don't have the best relationship. And obviously that'll be the relationship we get to see. Whatever that turns out to be, but it turns out completely different, and like it just ends. So, like Bill starts out as a character that I'm thinking at first, I'm like, God, I'm probably gonna hate this guy, aren't I? And at the end, I was like, oh, it's just sad to see him go.
Yeah,
like,
well, Frank ends up getting an illness. I want to say it was cancer.
Yeah, I don't think they ever say 100%, but it's strongly implied cancer.
Or maybe MS. It might have been MS, too.
It was something that, given the current setup, so society hasn't completely collapsed, but it's way different than what we're used to, and there's a lot of empty spaces in the world, and they're just isolated off, and, doctors don't really exist. It's like they do, but it's not the easiest thing to get a hold of.
They're few and far between.
Yeah, you get something like cancer, or we might even get an episode about this at some point in the future. But I remember in Stephen King's The Stand, there's this huge scene where a person dies of appendicitis, something easily treatable that will just kill you now. I'm sure it does in this world too. I'm sure.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like cancer is one of those things where we're getting to a point where we're pretty good at treating it, but it's not 100%. I mean, we just talked about Anne Wershing, who just passed from cancer. It's not 100%. We're getting good at it, especially if we get it early, but it's not 100% still. God, lots of cancer this episode.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Are we ready to move on to something?
Yeah. I think we've covered all the bases.
Yeah. This is a historically huge movie. This was the movie
Rocky
that ended
Cold War.
This is the movie that ended communism. Just absolutely destroyed the Cold War. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you, Sylvester.
Rocky
Stallone.
punched a hole. This is the one where Sylvester Stallone punches a hole through the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, it was awesome. He was like, "Take down this wall," and bam.
Well, hey, yo, there's a wall here.
There's a wall. I think it would be better if we could walk through it. No, this... Okay, so this movie is not necessarily what I would consider good, but this is absolutely an entertaining movie.
It is.
Oh my God, it's dumb.
It's not good.
It's very, very dumb. But it's so much fun. This is the one where he ends the Cold War, he defeats communism. In a lot of ways it follows the same formula of Rocky 3, except how Rocky 3 has some drama and some seriousness to it. This Rocky 4 kind of tries to go for it, especially with the death of Apollo Creed, but that's the closest it gets, and
it's almost done too satirical, and if he dies, he dies. Like that seems like way over dramatic than it.
It's like, okay, I understand. I understand people die in the boxing ring, but that's not the norm. You know that, right?
Why were they interviewing him at that moment while Apollo was dying?
That was so weird.
Ring?
Apollo obviously needs medical help, and all the press is up there just talking to him. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? The story is Apollo's over here dying, not that fucking this guy just beat him. What?
Yeah, like, the fuck?
Yeah. No, this is so ridiculous. So,
I think we should talk about the main star of this movie, and that's Polly's robot.
Well, of course, the robot stole the show. Happy birthday, Polly. I mean,
happy birthday, Polly.
Yeah. Rocky gets a robot for Polly, and it sings "Happy Birthday."
Yeah, happy birthday, Polly.
This movie's so cheesy.
This was 85, right?
I thought it was a bit later, but it might have been 85.
85, 80, right? Oh, in those late 80s, like it wasn't like an 80s movie without a robot at some point.
No. Well, that's the thing. Like this
that's a trope.
Yeah.
It was a trope.
Oh, you're right. This is 85. Okay. I think there might have been quite a few years between this and Rocky 5 then. But
yeah, even E.T. had a robot.
Yeah, these movies get slowly and slowly goofier, and I'll give it to Rocky 2. Rocky 2 really tried to keep it more serious, and it's a little bit goofier than the first one, but it overall is able to maintain the tone. And then you can feel the tone slipping with the third one, and then this is the one where the tone just drops off a cliff.
Well,
goddamn, I enjoy this one still.
It did do some things that mirrored 3, I felt. Where we see Drago training for his fight, he's in the super high-tech, state-of-the-art facility.
Mm-hmm.
Just how Rocky was training for the fight with Clover.
Yeah.
And Clover was training, in the old gym.
Mm-hmm.
Dark, dingy, beat up.
Mm-hmm.
The streets, like the rough one. Just how he was training, just how they switched their roles for their second fight. But Rocky was training in the middle of the fucking mountains.
I love how exaggerated it gets. Like in the first 2 Rockies, it's like he runs to the top of this huge staircase and it's like, fuck yeah. Oh, that was exhausting. Here, Rocky runs to the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
He climbs a mountain.
Sure, that's what you do in an afternoon, right? He didn't even climb it. He ran up it. Well, I'll tell you, essentially, the villain here is Dolph Lundgren and his super soldier Russian whatever. And I love how they're like, oh yeah, he's built up, he's everything Russia, he's like super muscle mass, all because of, his Russian training. And then they have this oh, well, does he take any steroids? And they're so obviously lying. They're like, no, this is all natural. No, he never does steroids.
All Russian milk.
Yeah, and then of course later we have to have the scene as if it wasn't clear enough that yes, of course he's taking steroids.
Yeah,
they
doping.
Were fucking
lying.
He's doping. It's like he was.
Yeah, of
they were
course
obviously
he's fucking
lying.
doping.
Yeah,
of course he's fucking doping. Look at him.
Yeah, but I will say one thing I love is so you have the training montage you just talked about where it's all high tech and then Rocky's in the Alps. But I'll tell you why Rocky wins this one against the doped up Russian super soldier. It's because
he was drinking goat's milk?
Well, that helped. But it's because he didn't do one training montage to get ready. He does 2.
Several.
He does 2. And that's how he's super rockified at the end of this one, because he did 2 training montages. You can't beat 2 training Rocky does 2 training montages, you're fucked, okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're probably
you can't be. No, there are so many montages in this. After Apollo dies, and then Rocky agrees to fight Drago because revenge and shit, and his wife gets pissed at him. They get into a fight, and he leaves the house angry. And you get this montage, 80s music, tonally maybe doesn't quite fit, but you get this montage of the past 3 Rocky movies and a couple of clips from this one. And it's there are so many montages in this movie. It's wow, the montages in Rocky movies are really popular. And this one's the shortest one by far. How many montages can we fit in?
All of the montages.
No.
We need to at least fit one full plane length of Eye of the Tiger.
Yes. Well, I think Eye of the Tiger got 2 playthroughs in the third one, and
It got an opening credit spot in this one.
Yeah. And I love the beginning shot where it's like the two boxing gloves and one's Russian.
In space!
It's like America versus communism. Boom! It's like this has gone super cheesy, hasn't it? Now, I feel like I'm a bit repeating myself, but like I said, like this is not what I would consider a good movie, but god damn it, this is fun. Just, oh god, we have to talk about the ending. So, like, obviously, Rocky beats the crap out of Drago. He eventually wins. Yay!
Oh, you mean when he ends the Cold War with that speech?
Yes. Yeah. When he's giving his Rocky speech, and it's just like, we just need to learn to talk to each other and get along. And then you get the president of Russia, who's totally not Gorbachev. He's listening, and then he just stands up so proud, just like, Rocky is right, and he starts clapping. It's like, sure.
Propaganda at its finest.
Yeah.
At its finest.
Listen, all the president of Russia needs when he's acting up is a good speech from an American boxer.
And they said that his heart grew 4 sizes that day.
Well, I love how the match is going on, and it's in Russia, obviously. And
President Nagachev's heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Yeah, but as the fight's going on, apparently the Russian crowd starts cheering for Rocky. And it's like, yeah, that's how that works. That's definitely how that works. Yes. So yeah, now I think I've covered most everything I want to say, but like,
yeah.
Anything else you want to add? Yeah.
No. Like, I had a split viewing of this one, so I guess I just got all the craziness. I mean, I thought Thunderlips had a great intro in the last one, but he didn't have James Brown open for him.
True. Oh my god, we almost missed the whole James Brown thing. Like, for some reason, Drago's just sitting on the ring as it raises up. Like, he didn't set up any special intro or anything, because why? No, he just hang out on the boxing ring when it raises up, and fucking James Brown's playing "Living in America," and Apollo Creed's dancing to it, because Apollo Creed's gonna do a setup. Because so yeah, it's a bit much, but like Apollo Creed is absolutely a showman, so I'll give him that.
Well, I mean, it's not quite like when he first went to the ring against Rocky, where he had 2 jackets that he wore.
Yeah.
One that he walked out to the ring on, and then he took off. And then, he put another one on. This.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is
I don't know anyone from Louisiana.
Yes, you do. You know everybody from Louisiana.
I don't. Not that scammer.
I guess anything you want to add before we move on? Yeah, so, all right, so we're at Mandalorian now. My shirt's sake, and I do want to add, like this week, like I wasn't even thinking about, but we got lots of Pedro Pascal this week. We got a fair bit of Carl Weathers too.
Yeah,
they were doing all right, but kind of revisiting Mandalorian with season 3 coming out. It's been a few years. Like this was 2019. And I believe the last season was early 2020. So, like, it's been like 2 years since we've had a season of this. So, this is just the first couple episodes. So, we're getting introduced to Mando. We're getting introduced to Baby Yoda, not yet named Grogu. So, I don't know why I called him that. I don't know that yet.
The child.
The child. No, it's Baby Yoda. This is actually Child Yoda before he's sent back in time. It's obvious. Come on.
We don't really know what his species does, so
yeah, we don't. We know it's long lived. That's about it, and apparently very force sensitive. But
like centuries.
I do like what they've done with this series, because this is the space western Star Wars. It's like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were like, let's straight up
watch Sergio. Let's watch a bunch of Lerone films, but let's make Star Wars versions of them.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just do a Star Wars story, but just make it flat out a fucking Western. It's a Western.
Flat out a Western.
Yeah. And this is fun. This is kind of like the fresh take on Star Wars that kind of we needed for a while. So yeah, this works. Obviously we get introduced to Mando, who's a bounty hunter, and he's fairly ruthless in this. Does kind of what's needed until something special touches his heart, which is of course Baby Yoda. But yes, I guess what were your thoughts about the first couple episodes?
Was finally happy to see an IG unit in action.
That was
fucking awesome.
Yeah, I definitely wanted. Yeah, go.
I really enjoyed how like you had said, this is like essentially like a Western in space. I really enjoyed this take of the Mandalorian or of Star Wars or the lore and the expanded universe of it. So far from what we know about Mando, I mean, I trying not to like add my notes from what I already know from being where I'm at and watching the series, because like I'm caught up, ready for the next season.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, I'm caught up.
But it was nice to revisit this and kind of remember a lot of the humble beginnings, like see him where he was before he got the suit that I associate with him now.
I just remember that his initial suit got beat up. I had forgotten that.
I also forgot that he had to barter with a whole bunch of Jawas, and Nick Nolte was there to help him, though.
Yeah, I had forgotten about Nick Nolte even being in season 1, and he was a pretty big role. Like, once he popped up, it's like, oh yeah, he was a big role, wasn't
he? And it's amazing that he did all that physical acting under all that makeup. Well, not much makeup, though, but
under all that makeup, he somehow looked like half his height. Like, it was amazing. No,
it's not actually Nick Nolte, but
no, that's something I was actually thinking about, because I'm pretty sure most of Pedro, I'm pretty sure Mando has like a body actor. Most of Pedro Pascal's stuff is voice work. That being said,
I'm pretty sure like a lot of the stuff he performs in the suit, except for like the sitting in the chair, like piloting the ship. I think that's him. Because I don't think I've read about the body actor, because I know there's at least we've already said we're caught up on the series. I know that
there's definitely moments where it's definitely
where we clearly see it is him under the suit. So
let me see. I think well, actually, maybe it's him for season 1, because there is a body actor credited for season 2.
Okay.
So he probably just got a better contract. Which is actually funny, because we actually see more of his face in season 2 than season 1 as well. So he does actually physically have to be there for more of season 2.
Well, I think he probably has to at least show his face in one episode a season.
Oh yeah, no, like they're paying for Pedro Pascal, and he's a decent named actor, so it's like. Well, I'm certain. We gotta see your face. I'm certain he's gonna want to show his face as well, because he's an actor and he wants to get his face out there.
But I mean, also in the sense of everything, I'm very happy he finally learned to wear a helmet.
Maybe.
Maybe. But still. How are you going to introduce a badass character like the Viper and then have him fucking die like that? That's all.
Yeah. Well, the first 3 episodes are almost kind of like the 3 parts to your pilot here, where you get
pretty much.
Yeah, it's Mando and the meeting the baby, and then the baby's a bounty, so he turns in the bounty, and then he just has a change of heart, and he's like, you can just tell, like. It's one of those things where you don't have him tell you, but like you can just tell from his actions.
Well, he was able to get the drop on an IG unit, and a droid built for killing.
Oh yeah, and I definitely want to go into that, because I love how they do the movements for the IG unit. Like, they're very robotic movements. How like the torso just spins and shoots, and it's very like
I didn't
rigid how it moves.
All like a gyroscope like that, sort of like acting, but like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
Yeah, you could see how it'd be an effective bounty hunter. Just spinning around.
The IG unit in the Empire didn't
Yeah.
move like that.
Well, hey, this is 8 years later, 8 years after Empire. So yeah, it's super. This is even more
and
advanced.
for all we know, that. Well, I mean, before he even announced who he was, the droid, it could have been IG-88 because, in Shadows of the Empire canon, which is no longer canon, Boba Fett blew him up.
Yeah. Well, maybe eventually we'll get that Dasher into our movie.
I hope so, man. Every time we talk about Star Wars, I always bring up Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah. Well, God, it's been a while since I've read that book, but yeah, it wasn't a bad book. My biggest complaint was how
had in that.
My biggest issue was how Dash goes out in that book. Other than that, I think it's a good book.
Oh well, they're on their way to go retrieve Han and Carbonite. You've served your purpose, Dash.
Yeah, just random. Oh yeah, here's a meteor. Oh,
I'm happy you got to reunite with Lando and Chewie.
But yeah, so we get to 3 episodes. Mando becomes a fugitive from most anybody. The Mandalorians in the town help him escape. But yeah. Everybody's kind of pissed at him for not doing the full bounty with Grogu. Or I'm sorry, Baby Yoda. I don't know that name yet. I don't know why I keep on saying it.
The child.
Yeah, the child.
Well, yeah, and some bad and a great Empire high-ranking officer who could have a great career voiceovering documentaries.
But well, actually, I was about ready to move on to episode 4, where we're introduced to Cara Dune, played by an actress who has never had any controversies ever.
And has never had a flop.
Yes. No, you go back and look at some of the way these people talk about Terror on the Prairie and how it would change Hollywood. And now that the numbers have come out, it's like, wow. Like Gina Carano, they were in talks to give Cara Dune her own spin-off series on Disney+. And instead, she had to do some dumb tweets, and now she did Terror on the Prairie, which is pretty objectively a flop, no matter which way you look at it. And God, they talked about like it'd be a big deal, and it was not. Nobody cared.
Even the demographic it was targeted to hated it.
Yes, they called it woke because a woman lead, because they've been trading people to call everything woke that has a woman or minority as a lead. And it's like, the word means nothing anymore.
I guarantee you, if you go to any one of their libraries, they'll at least own either Alien or Aliens.
Probably
guaranteed. Guaranteed.
But yeah, it's fascinating. Like she is not the best actress, but I thought in this series she did fine. But yeah, it was clearly like she was being set up as kind of a big figure, not necessarily a big figure, but a popular figure in Star Wars. I could see how her character could kind of expand out and have her own mini story. And she just flushed it down the toilet. She just...
Well, yeah, she decided to not realize that, she is a Disney employee.
Mm-hmm.
And, just like any company and any job, if most jobs nowadays do monitor your social medias, they monitor them. They keep tabs on them because they want to make sure that you're not saying anything if you're representing the company. In any way that could get you in trouble. Actually, somebody in a higher up in my company got fired 2 years ago for something that he posted on Facebook.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you don't see it so much, but when you're dealing with actors in particular, actors are going to have their faces out there. If somebody likes performance, they're likely to follow the actor on some sort of social media. And if that actor is posting really shitty stuff, anti-vaccine stuff, shit trying to say that right-wingers are currently like Jews in the Holocaust, like she was posting, it's not gonna look good. And you could take any one of her individual tweets in a vacuum and say, oh, she doesn't deserve to get fired for that. And I would even go by the broad stance of saying I don't think she deserves to get fired for anything she tweets. But
doubling down on it?
Well, it's not... Yeah, doubling down on it's questionable, but also, I think there's something behind the scenes we don't know. I think like if like everybody worked with her, loved her, and thought she was the best person ever, and then she gets fired for a tweet, I think we would hear people going, "Oh, what the fuck? That's not cool, guys. Why'd you fire her?" But we didn't hear a peep, and that tells me that probably she wasn't the best person to work with, and there's more going on behind the scenes, and they're using the Twitter kind of as an excuse to can her. And they were bad tweets. I do want to stress that. At no point am I looking at tweets going, "Oh yeah, these are great." No, they're bad. But I think there's definitely more going on behind the scenes why she got fired. And I think just the fact that this newest movie bombed, like, they were so pushing this movie, and it just bombed hard. And it's like, if you had just behaved a little bit on social media, they wouldn't have had grounds to fire you, and then you have your own Star Wars spin-off series. Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so overall, the first 4 episodes are pretty solid. I enjoy it. It'd be nice to see. It's tough. Like you said, I know where this is going, but, kind of revisiting it, and it won't be bad to get caught up again before the new season starts, because it's been over 2 years since...
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's been over 2 years since the end of season 2, but it's been a while. So...
It has been some time.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get all caught up again. Is there anything you want to add?
No. No. I'll get into it next week, because that's really when I would want to talk about it.
well, next week, I believe we're finishing off Mandalorian Season 1 next week. I'm pretty sure that's on the schedule. And then, what is it? I believe Ant-Man, it's also Ant-Man and Rocky 5. Oh, Rocky 5.
1,000.
1,000?
That was from Spaceballs.
Oh, Rocky 5,000. I think I'd rather that one. Rocky 5. Rocky 5 is... Maybe it's better than I remember. Maybe it's better. God, I hope so. I just remember being so bored. And thinking the street fight at the end was kind of cool, but...
From what I remember, there's that guy who's not Don King.
Mm-hmm.
In any way, shape, or form.
Well, I guess when we covered Rocky 4, Rocky 4 just now, we didn't even cover Duke was probably one of my favorite characters. Like, and he was been a character throughout the whole franchise, but like he actually got some good lines in that movie. And we will see more of him going forward. Not a lot more, but we'll see more. But
yeah, now Duke is like in Rocky's corner, because he also helped him train too. Mm-hmm. He helped him train for the second fight with Apollo, or not Apollo, but Clubber.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, because Duke was essentially Apollo's trainer, and you kind of see an evolution, obviously, for the first 2.5 movies. Mickey is Rocky's trainer, and then for essentially a movie, like 3.5 to 4.5, Apollo is Rocky's trainer, and then for the rest of the movies where Rocky is the lead, Duke will be his trainer, and Duke was Apollo's former trainer, and he just moved on to train Rocky.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a character. I believe it's Sylvester Stallone, and then the actor who plays Duke are the only ones to be in all 6 Rocky movies. Which, yeah,
not even Paulie. Paulie's not in 5.
I'm brain farting again. Paulie's in 6. Paulie's in all 6. I keep on forgetting about Paulie.
Well, it's okay. Paulie's kind of a
he starts out as like this really abusive, shitty brother, and just becomes comic relief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like in M4, he was just comic relief.
Yeah, this one, he is also very much comic relief.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we will get caught up with Rocky 5, and we will see. I'm not looking forward to it, but yes, we'll watch it. Ant-Man and Mandalorian will be fun. Ant-Man and
yeah, Ant-Man and Mandalorian and the DeLorean.
Yeah, DeLorean. We're doing Back to the Future too? What? We're doing...
Well, no, I'm sorry, Ant-Man. You did say that it was full of shit, but you got a DeLorean.
Mm-hmm. Shit. But, yeah, anything you want to say before we sign out, Bobby?
No. I'm ready to roll.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Organized Chaos Podcast.
Please.
Comment, and subscribe. Bobby Quarters. Like, comment, subscribe. Organized Chaos. Go ahead and check out Fandom Initiative too. We're doing live streams over there.
Wait. Yes. something I did want to add. If you are on Twitch and you enjoy watching Twitch streams, my wife has just started.
Oh yes.
doing Twitch streaming. You could follow her she is a Hellkit10, so it's a HELKIT, the 10. So follow her. She always gives us a lot of shout outs, a lot of props. I'm in there. You'll find me as Bobby Quarters. I don't stream, but I'm there and I promote the show in there too. So we actually might have had a jump in viewership. I meant to tell you that.
Nice.
But I've been promoting in there. So, but yes, she shouts out us. We should give her a shout out.
Okay, what is her? Got Twitch
HEL
here. So it's Hellkit.
HELKIT 10.
Having that thing.
It's a little.
All right. We
it should be like a little red kitty.
Take a little break there.
Like a cartoon cat animation or cartoon character. I can put it in the chat too, or in our chat, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, here. I'm gonna kind of cut off your picture, but you can still talk.
Okay.
Let me bring this up. So, is this it?
Let me. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Hellkit.
That is her.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit follow myself. Boom.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and check that out.
Yeah.
All right, and yeah, everybody have a good one.
Take care.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.